Greetings and salutations, men, women, and children of all ages. Welcome in to No One Asked Us. He's Craig Choate. I'm Logan Lee. Episode 73 overall. We've been doing this now for 73 episodes, Craig. Are we having a 75th episode party? That's coming right around the corner. 100 will be our party. Okay. Episode 73. We're in season 2, episode 11 of season 2. As I already said, he is Craig. I am Logan. Thank you for joining us. Before we get started, as always, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media at No One Asked Us Pod on Twitter. He's at Craig W. Choate. I'm at B. Logan Lee. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Also, like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can comment below. You can rate. You can give us scores on Apple iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, all that stuff. You can leave comments and reviews on Apple. Assuming you're subscribed to that. I ran into that with a listener earlier this week. We had a lot of questions wanting to leave a comment or a review for us, but unfortunately you can't do it on Spotify, and he's a Spotify guy and doesn't have an Apple account because he's an Android guy. So Aaron, appreciate you. But you can leave a comment,
people, man.
You can leave a comment. Real quick though, I do want to mention something here.
Can I ask you something first?
Yes, please, Craig, go ahead.
What day is it today?
You asked me what day it was on October 3rd. Very Mean Girls fan of you, Craig. Craig, have you watched Mean Girls yet?
I think I've seen like 98% of it. I don't know if I've completely finished it.
Craig,
yeah.
Yes, it is October 3rd. We are recording this on October 3rd. It is Mean Girls Day. Happy Mean Girls Day to all those that celebrate, myself included. I did not wear pink today, unfortunately. That was a
It's not Wednesday.
That's true. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Craig, look at you. A couple of years ago, you hadn't even seen the damn movie. Now you know everything about it. You're quoting everything. No, real quick. Craig and I have kind of talked a little bit off the show about some of this stuff, but I want to hear from the listeners. I know we have loyal listeners that listen to every episode. I know we have some people that pop in and out based on what we're talking about on YouTube or whatever the case may be. We want to hear from you. I want to know what people are tuning in for. We have all these segments that we do on a regular basis that Craig and I enjoy doing. So ultimately, I mean, this is up to us on what we want to do. It's our show. But as the listeners and the viewers of this show, we would love to hear your guys' takes. Not necessarily takes, your opinions. Those are always cool too. But like, what do you come to our show for? Do you just come just to listen to Craig and I talk for an hour? Are you here to listen to our college football takes or our baseball takes? Or are you just waiting for basketball season? Like, what do you like? Do you like the questions that we do? Do you like the power rankings? Do you like the pick 'em, the pick your pick segments? Tell us your feedback, whether that's in a Facebook comment, shoot us an email, message us on Twitter, anything. We would love to hear from you guys, the people that are actually consuming this content. Because that would help us when it comes to putting these shows together. Because as we've said, we kind of been doing the same exact thing, which we enjoy doing. But if there's something that people want us to hear or want to hear that they want us to talk about, I'm more than happy to change things up. So I want to hear from the viewers, whether you are a loyal every episode listener, or whether you're just tuning in for certain things. Let us know why you're here. Or just let us know if like you're one of our dads or something. Like that's fine too, because I know those are out there obviously as well. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there because it's not something that we've really asked for. We asked for comments. Comments are great. Comments on YouTube really help the algorithm. So definitely comment on Twitter or on YouTube on all these videos. But yeah, I just want to know. I want to know why people are tuning in, what they want to hear, what they want to hear more of, what they want to hear less of. Do you find some of it too much? Do you find it confusing? Do you not care about some of the other stuff we talk about at the end? Do you want to hear more movie or TV stuff? Do you want to hear less movie or TV stuff? Do you want to hear less football? Whatever, anything.
Do you want to hear more of Craig and less of Logan?
Or more of Logan and less of Craig? One or the other is fine. Do you want more people on the show? We've had a couple guests here and there, but it's mostly just been him and I talking. So I want to hear input. I want to hear feedback. Let us know what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show. That way we can improve it as we get a little further. Craig, before we get into questions and stuff, how you doing? You good?
Great.
How was your weekend?
Yeah.
You're a little red. I know you were out on the golf course all weekend. Do you want to talk about your experience?
Atkins
playing real golf.
Atkins Golf Club. formerly known as Stone Creek in Champaign.
Mm-hmm.
Whoo, that is a wind tunnel, man. That was windy on Saturday. 18 there. We played 36, all 36 at the U of I Blue and Orange course on Friday, and 18 at Atkins on Saturday. And man, it was cold in the morning. So for the first time, really ever, I wore pants golfing. Normally I'm a shorts guy. Have to be able to wear shorts to go golfing, but I wore pants because it was so cold in the mornings. It warmed up and turned out to be perfect days, but whew, yeah, it was a long weekend. Yeah, my face, if you're watching, it's not too bad, but you can definitely see I got sun and some wind burn on my cheeks there a little bit. You can't really see this either, but my lips are very chapped. But it was good. It was a fun weekend. 17 or ended up being 15 of us. Mostly Pinckneyville guys. There were a couple other guys thrown in there, a couple of other of our buddies, but yeah, it's something they do every year. For my first year doing it, but it's the 4th or 5th year that they've done this, and this year was in Champaign, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to see the guys and spend some time back in Champaign for a weekend.
That's awesome. We were once again for the first time in a while within like the same. We were in the same zip code, but we managed to not see each other again. The last time, I don't know if we've talked about it in a while. Craig and I haven't seen each other in person since 2019.
Whenever Illinois played at Notre Dame, right?
Whenever that was. It's been a long time. We see each other on a weekly basis on here, but we've never actually seen each other in person. And we were actually in the same area code over the weekend, but we didn't see each other. I was back in Oakwood. It was Oakwood homecoming. Went back for the football game on Saturday. Helped out, got behind the mic, did some public address announcing for the Comets. It was kind of a mess at times, but we got the job done, so it was good. The Comets did not pull out the win, though, unfortunately. It's been
2-4, 3-3, 2-4,
2 wins,
2-4,
whatever,
or 2-3 maybe,
2-3, I think.
Yeah,
2-3. So, but yeah, that's where I was for just a couple days, and then back up here last night. So, all right, what cut your eye this week, Craig?
Well, Logan, we just kind of touched on it. I'm a Ryder Cup champ. Ryder Cup champ. I got the belt. I was the captain. My first year, I was asked to be captain, and my team brought home the belt. So, yeah, that golf trip I was just talking about. You know what? I'm going to leave this on. The golf trip I was just talking about, we do Ryder Cup style. So about a month or two ago, when we all finalized who was going, me and Richard Nalmer were captains. It kind of goes based on the best golfers of the group. None of us are like professionals. None of us are that great, but and then we just alternate picks, very similar to the Ryder Cup, and then we do pairings and teams play each other on Friday and Saturday, and brought home the title, 12-10. So, did I play the best? No, wasn't thanks to me. It was thanks to my teammates. My teammates came to play. They were prepared. They picked up my slack. I was not mentally prepared on Saturday. And thankfully I had a good team to pick up the slack and bring home the belt.
I'm really proud of you.
I hope everyone's watching the YouTube right now, because I'm wearing the belt.
Craig is wearing his belt. He's not wearing it where he should. The belt is supposed to go around the waist, but
it's a youth belt, so definitely does not fit around waist.
Just lose some weight. You got a wedding. You got a wedding to go to. So
I have lost weight, Logan. Thanks for noticing.
Oh. Sorry, I look at you in this box. It's about as big as my fingers. I'm making a paper football, so I'm sure you have lost weight. I'm sure you look great. I would know the difference. Real quick before we get into the rest of the show,
what's yours?
I don't want to spend too much. Well, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Cubs. When we get to the baseball section, there's a lot more other important baseball things, but it was a farewell of sorts over the weekend for a couple players, potentially. Most notably, Jason Hayward. The Cubs announced earlier this season that he will not be returning for his final year of his contract. So the Cubs did say goodbye to him, had a nice video recognition for him, and brought him out on the field, showed off his ring one more time, had a nice send-off for Hayward. I know he's had a shaky career at best with the Cubs, but he was a very important part of that team. So the last couple of years,
always have the rain delay.
Always have the rain delay. So shout out Jason Hayward. Also Wilson Contreras. Don't know that he's going to be in Cub uniform again. So that was his last home game as well. Kind of sad to watch, but I'm over baseball season. So baseball playoffs are coming up, and I'll have plenty to watch there. But the Cubs better start building something this offseason. All right, question of the week, or what do you think? I kind of just want to go back to question of the week.
Okay.
Because I think we both kind of do it. I think we both just kind of still go to question of the week, and we've changed the name, the what do you think, but we can still put that on Twitter. I don't know. Whatever. It's not that important. What was our question last week? Was this the home run?
Yeah, home run. Yeah.
Last week we asked the question, which I think it's fair. I think it's a valid question. The question was, will we see another MLB player hit 600 home runs? Now, obviously, this is of note recently because Albert Pujols has hit his 700th. Now, I think 702 is what he's at now.
Yep.
But we asked, in the next 100 years, even is what we asked, will anyone else hit 600 home runs? Because there's not really anybody close. But we did ask that question. We had 37 people vote. 70% of the vote said yes, that we will in fact see somebody else hit 600 home runs in the next 100 years. And then 30% said no. Craig, where you stand on that now? Do you think that's a yes? You think that's a no? Should we have changed
I voted no.
Years to something else?
I voted no. I just couple things factor into the current crop of players. I mean, most of them lost half of a year because of COVID. So there's a good chunk of home runs that they lost. Also, there's just less home runs being hit now. I don't think power is. Imagine that. There's not as many home runs being hit when there's not as many steroids being used. Huh. So I don't know. 700 is a large number. Only 5 people, or 600 is a large number. Only 20 something have hit 600, I believe. I don't know if it's gotten to 30, but
there's still some mashers in baseball.
I lean no. The names currently that got brought up were, because I asked my friends this weekend. Vlad Jr. potentially could. Pete Alonso probably could. I forgot who the other ones were. Just those guys that, I mean, you have to come up when you're like 19 or 20 or 21. Like Judge ain't going to get there. He's 37 or he's 27. He might get 300 more, but that's only 515. So I don't know. It'll be tough. I lean no, though, at least in our lifetime.
No, it's fair. I mean, I voted yes. I think 100 years is a long time. And I think that at some point somebody will, but I agree with you to an extent. I do think it's going to be tough to reach. I mean, I'm looking at guys like, Kyle Schwarber, who is, put up good home run numbers. But even at this point, he's not even at 200 and he's already 29 years old. So
yep,
it's a long ways to go. For guys, but I think it's still possible that somebody out there can do it. But what will help, not that this is like a make or break thing, but the designated hitter thing could help.
Could.
I mean, a full-time thing in both leagues might help somebody get there at some point. Saw Nelson Cruz says he still wants to play another year. I don't think he's going to get to 600, but having the DH in both leagues will certainly help that. So question for this week, we're going to make it Illinois centric since I kind of buried the lead. We haven't even talked about Illinois football already or yet on this show. At this point, we are through 5 weeks of the college football season. Give a grade to the Illini football season so far. I think it's pretty obvious where we're going with this, but we'll give you the options of A, B, C, or D. Give a grade to the 4-1 Illini football team after the first 5 weeks, technically, I guess 6 weeks of the season for the Illini. Do you want to talk about your grade right now? Or do you want to, well, by the time
by the
time we do this again, they'll play Iowa and they may have lost. So let's do that. As I said, I kind of buried the lead. I did not mention Illinois football once at the top of the show, and we probably should have. In case you missed it, that's the disadvantage of this doing this Monday thing is we haven't been doing the instant reactions. We'll probably do that for basketball. Football is a little more difficult, but Illinois football went to Madison on Saturday and put a pretty good beat down on the Badgers. In a homecoming of sorts for Brett Bielema. The Illini defense showed up and showed out. They limited the Wisconsin offense to, I believe, 2 yards of rushing, and they took the win 34-10 on Saturday. So at this point, Craig, what is your grade for the Illini football team? Before we get into the game itself, let's just cap off this. Are you at an A? Is this an A season so far?
My knee-jerk answer is A, but I keep coming back to losing to Indiana, who's one of the worst 3 or 4 teams in the conference.
Yeah.
But one of the guys on the trip this weekend, he said it from the get-go. From the night they lost to Indiana, he's like, this could be good for this team. Games like that sometimes end up being a good thing. So it might look terrible on a resume. It's going to look real bad on the resume come the end of the year. Yeah. But football's not like basketball where bad losses hurt your seeding. You just got to win some games and you're going to get a better bowl.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like that A- B+ area.
That's
right where it's at.
That's where I'm at too.
I'm not sure how I would answer.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I think it's probably B- or B+, A-. I agree with you, but we've set the rules A, B, C, or D. That's what you can vote on. Craig and I will decide for ourselves later once we actually put this out there. So yes, Illinois goes to Madison, takes down Wisconsin on Saturday, 34-10. Incredible outing. This defense, we've talked about them for several weeks now, is legitimate. They are legitimately one of the best defenses in the country. Now, granted, they have yet to play a top tier, even close to top tier opponent. Wisconsin going into the season is far away the best team they've played so far, but they are now 0-2 in Big Ten play. So I'm not exactly sure how good Wisconsin is. Their other wins on their schedule aren't exactly anything to write home about. That's why I've had them a little lower in my power rankings. Obviously, I've moved them up this week. But still, we are 5 weeks into the season. Illinois is 4-1, inches away from being 5-0. Receiving votes for the first time in a long time. If they win against Iowa on Saturday, got a pretty good shot of making that top 25. This team's rolling. This team is rolling. The defense is sensational. As I said, gave up two rushing yards. This is, you think about Wisconsin and all the power running backs they've had over the course of the last decade or two, and just to shut a team like that down, pretty great. Tommy DeVito was competent. Again, that's the word. Tommy DeVito was competent. It's been a while since Illinois has had a competent quarterback. And his numbers aren't going to blow you away. He only threw for 167 yards, didn't throw a touchdown. Had a pretty good, QB rating. Didn't throw any picks, but he did score three touchdowns on the ground. Touchdown to touchdown, however you get it. So Tommy DeVito, a competent quarterback. He is proving to be. I don't know where you put the line at the top tier quarterbacks in the Big Ten. I'm certainly not putting him in that conversation. But if you're talking, tier 2, I don't know how many quarterbacks fit into tier 2, but I think Tommy DeVito is showing he's at least a tier 2 quarterback in the Big Ten. You agree?
Yeah. I think Brett Bielema mentioned this in the post game on Saturday that earlier last week, Big Ten Network posted a graphic that was 6. The question was, which quarterback are you picking to lead your team from the Big Ten or whatever? And there was 6, and it was like CJ Stroud, JJ McCarthy, Tanner Morgan, Talia Tagovailoa, Aiden O'Connell, and Sean Clifford, probably. I don't know. It was 6 quarterbacks. DeVito wasn't on there. And Bielema screenshotted it and sent it in a group chat to Tommy DeVito and Tommy DeVito's dad. And Tommy DeVito's dad responded, we don't care about that stuff. We just want to win Saturday. We just want to beat the Badgers. We'll see you there or something. And Tommy just liked he didn't even respond. He just liked his dad's tweet. And Bielema's like, that's just the kind of guy he is. He's like, he doesn't care. He just comes in, gets the job done. And what's great about this is, his numbers aren't blowing people away. He's not the best quarterback in the Big Ten. He's probably not top 5 or 10, but like you said, he's second tier. And now Illinois has something to sell other transfer QBs on. Like, hey,
Yeah.
look what we did with Tommy DeVito. Potentially, depending on the name they're going after, they could be like, you have more talent than Tommy DeVito. Imagine what you can do with Barry Lunny. So it's a great recruiting pitch, the season that DeVito's putting on. Not maybe statistically, but Illinois is 4-1 with a win at Camp Randall for the first time in 20 years. So it's good for recruiting. I got to change the lighting on my face. Go ahead. Logan, show for 5 seconds.
Yeah, your whole lighting plan did not work out for you. Chase Brown did not hit his 150-yard mark like he'd been doing several times earlier in the season, but he did finish with nearly 130 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Not a lot of action in the air, as we talked about. I mean, DeVito did complete 18 passes, so there was 167 yards out there, but no receiver's going to blow you away. But it's competent. It's competent football with a one of the best defenses in the country, and the conference or the country's. I think he's still the country's leading rusher. You got a team
by like 5 or 6 yards only.
You got a team, and you play in the maybe I don't want to say the weakest division in college football, but it's not a particularly strong division. It is a bunch of teams that, quite frankly, aren't as good as at least 3 teams in the East. So you got a shot. This is all you can really ask for at this point in the season. 5 weeks into the year, you have a shot. Illinois legitimately has a shot at this point to play for the Big Ten title in Indianapolis. Will they get there? I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything. I'm not saying they're going to. There's a lot of games they can lose between now and then, but they're right there in the mix at this point.
Do you want me to be completely honest with you right now?
I would love complete honesty from you, Craig. Please hit me with it. Hit the people with Craig's honesty corner.
Craig looked up tickets to the Big Ten championship last night.
As Craig should. If they make it, we're going. I'll join you. I will join you for sure. Oh man,
could you? December 2nd or 3rd is when it is. I can't remember. But
if they make it there, I'll get there. And I'm not. I don't. As I said, I don't want to jump the gun. We're only 5 weeks in the Big Ten season. They've only played 2 Big Ten games. They should have won both of them. And neither of them have been against extremely strong opponents. But at this point, you do have to look ahead, and you do have to look at what this season holds ahead. And honestly, man, outside of Michigan,
we talked about that this weekend.
I think every single one of those games are winnable.
Yep.
I mean, especially when you get Iowa and Minnesota at home. Michigan State has not been good. Purdue's decent. I mean, there's decent teams in there, and they're not going to win every single one of those games. They're definitely not going to beat Michigan, and they're not going to win all those games. But they got a shot. They got a shot to win them all. They got a shot to finish the season with 2 losses, which would absolutely be sensational. It's not happening.
Oh my God.
I think we're looking at like 7 wins. But no, I think at this point you have to look at it when you look at that schedule.
No, I agree. With
it's not happening. I'm not. It is 100%. I will put money on it right now. It is not happening. Illinois will not finish the season 10-2. But it's possible.
The exact thing we talked about after we got back to the house on Saturday after golf and after the game, and we went to eat and we kind of dissected it. We looked at the schedule and said the only game Illinois will go into, at least the fan base, because the players will believe they can win. The only game that Illinois will go into that fans will be like, all right, let's just keep it close, or is Michigan. It's at Michigan. They'll be a double-digit underdog at Michigan. Every other game, they'll either be a single-digit underdog or they'll be favored, which is a huge step forward for this program. Did you see Ben Brust's rant?
I did not.
I quote tweeted it, so go to my Twitter and watch Ben Brust. Ben Brust played basketball at Wisconsin, 6 or 7 years. He was on the Sam Decker, Frank Kaminsky teams. He has his own podcast or radio show. I don't know what it is. He has his own show, talking Wisconsin sports, and he went on a rant leading up to the game about how Wisconsin's only a 7-point favorite against Illinois. He said, we're only a 7-point favorite against that crappy school. That's embarrassing. He said, we used to be 30-point favorites against them. I had 2 tweets drafted for that. One of them was, yeah, you lost when you were a 30-point favorite to them as well, because they did at Memorial Stadium. But I went with wins since 2019, Illinois 2, Wisconsin 2.
Yeah.
So they're not handling it well in Wisconsin. But
no.
I wanted to say this. The one thing I liked about Saturday, I watched what I could. It was I had it on my phone in the cart. Tough to watch it as intently as I normally do on the couch, of course, because I'm golfing, but I watched as much as I could. Wisconsin took a 10-7 lead 7 seconds into the second quarter. Didn't score another point.
Yeah.
Illinois got the lead, and they stepped on the throat. That is something that the basketball team struggles with at times.
Yeah.
That's something that we rarely see from the football team. But complete domination of the third quarter.
Yeah. It's
killer instinct.
It is. It really is. I mean, again, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. They could just as easily lay an egg at any point this season. They could lose to Nebraska and Northwestern. It would shock me. But I think, we talked about, what did we say last week? You want to win 2 of the next 3, or did we say just 1 of the next 3?
I said 1. I thought they went, hand to God, honesty, I thought they were going to go 1-3. I thought they would be 4-4, or I thought they would be 3-4 coming out of this.
Yeah. Well, they got 1 of them, and what is probably the most difficult to win on the road. So, before we move ahead to next week, though, there was some bigger news nationally that came out of that game after the Badgers lost to Illinois. They went ahead and fired their head coach. That's what happens when you lose to Illinois. Paul Chryst is out the door. I don't know.
Got a lot
I guess
of comments on my tweet about that too.
I guess I should have saw that coming, but
are you kidding me?
What?
I was shocked. He won 74% of his games.
I know.
He won 70% of his Big Ten games.
Clearly,
he won multiple Big Ten West championships.
Clearly, something's growing. That's what happens at that level. If you're not performing, Wisconsin thinks that they should be contending for the Big Ten title every single year. When you play in that division, you probably should be.
But you
start
see
this season 0-2 in the Big Ten and they lost to Illinois, and who was their other Big Ten loss?
Ohio State.
Oh, well, they should have lost that game. So I guess, I don't know. Clearly something's happening there. So
did you see the loser that I quote tweeted last night that has kind of went viral?
You tweet a lot.
His name's David Hookstead.
I did see this.
His Twitter bio is, you can find me watching college football. King of Wisconsin Badger Athletics, gunslinger at Outkick. So take that for what it's worth. I haven't looked at his Twitter today to see if he changed or whatever, but on October 1st at 7:15, is that after the game? Was the game October 1st? Okay.
Yes.
So the game, Illinois had already beat Wisconsin. David Hookstead, at the Hookstead on Twitter, if you want to go find this, says, I'm not saying Wisconsin can steal Nick Saban away from Alabama, but given our great academics and outstanding campus, we should at least call to gauge his interest. He'll probably say no, but have to at least pick up the phone and call at Badger Football. Is he being for real right now?
I don't even think Nick Saban has to pick up the phone and call Badger Football. I will say, in his defense, you should always at least throw that out there. But to say that he'll have to at least pick up the phone to return the call or pick up the phone to answer the call, no. Just no chance. If they want to extend the offer, sure, go ahead. But he's not answering. He's not returning your call. So, that's just obviously not happening. Nick Saban is not going anywhere.
Just idiotic.
Especially Wisconsin. Either way, yeah. Paul Chryst is out. Shocker. I think, for most people. But as you just mentioned, Ben Brust was clearly unhappy with the way things are with Wisconsin. So, and then that was before they lost the game. So, obviously there was some
part of it was they saw, and this was in Brust's thing, Purdue has this massive stadium upgrade coming. Northwestern announced plans for $800 million stadium, either renovation or new stadium. I'm not sure which one it was.
New stadium.
But, and Wisconsin's just kind of sitting there. They haven't done anything, and they're just kind of sitting idle. So I think most people just want to see some movement forward, and Wisconsin's just kind of happy and content with what they had. And I think that's where fans got mad.
I don't know that it's up to the head coach to build a new stadium. That's a decision elsewhere, but whatever.
I think Jim Leonard has a great shot to keep the job after.
I think there's a good chance he will, unless they flame out. But I think he's going to be a leading candidate. I mean, there's going to be plenty of candidates out there, but I don't know that there's any of them that are going to blow you away. So I think there's a good chance he could stick in that spot as well. So we'll move on from week 5 to week 6.
Yes.
Illinois hosts Iowa Saturday night, 7:30, Big Ten Network. Illinois enters the game as the favorite against Iowa. Where are we at? What world is
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. When you put this, Illinois was the 4.5 point favorite. I feel like that's gone down. It's 3.5 now. They're the favorite going into the game. It is the orange out for anybody that is attending. I'm sure you're not getting your news from us, but if you are planning on attending the game, wear orange. I don't know why you wouldn't anyway. But...
First of all, if you're listening and you're close, go to the game.
Yeah.
People need to go.
I wish that game was last week. I would have definitely been at that game.
Yeah.
I'm not going back for another weekend. But yeah, big one on Saturday. This is a Iowa team that, like Wisconsin, like Purdue, like Minnesota, was kind of like a joint favorite to win the division. And I still think at this point, if I was going to pick a favorite out of the East, I probably would still take Iowa. But it's a big game for Illinois. If they can pull this off and get 2 of these in a row, you're looking real pretty to get that bowl game you're looking for. So big game this week, 7:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Central. We've got to remember to say that because most of you are listening in the Central time zone, but 6:30 kickoff in Champaign. Wear orange. Gonna be a big one. You gonna go? You gonna go back?
No, I got a wedding this weekend. In Madison, surprisingly.
Oh, well, fitting.
Should I wear this?
You should. Yes.
I definitely have to wear Illinois stuff.
You're definitely wearing at least an orange shirt. If nothing else, wear an orange shirt. All right. Yep. So that's this week. Big game for the Illini. If they can pull it off, they're going to be sitting real pretty.
I was just looking at some stats here. Iowa's defense is 7th in yards per game, yards allowed per game. And they are, I believe, 2nd in points allowed per game. Let me see here. They're 3rd behind Illinois and Minnesota in points allowed per game. They are also, hold on, iPad problems here. So they allow 254.4 yards per game, which is 7th, like I said. They average themselves less yards per game than they allow per game, and they're 7th in yards allowed per game. That's how bad their offense is.
Yeah, that's the story going into this game. It's 2 of the country's best defenses. The biggest difference is that one team has one of the best running backs in the country. I mean, I think that's what this comes down to.
Top 5, top 10, top 3.
Yeah, I mean, top 5. I don't know if he'll be a Heisman candidate or anything, but he might. We'll have to see. But either way, that's what this comes down to. Two good defenses. But one of them at least has probably a slightly.
Iowa's offense is 2nd worst in the country.
There you go.
The only team that gains less yards per game than Iowa is Colorado State.
Not pretty. Not pretty. All right. So that is this weekend. We'll recap the rest of the games in the conference this week. We talked about Illinois, Wisconsin. Michigan beat Iowa 27-14. Purdue took down Minnesota. Again, this conference is just kind of a mess after the top three. Ohio State took down Rutgers pretty handily. Penn State over Northwestern only by 10 points. Maryland over Michigan State. And then Nebraska, here they come again, storming out. Making that Illinois loss look even worse, beating Indiana 35-21. That game was in Lincoln, right?
Yes.
It wasn't in, yeah. Good for Nebraska, I guess. But whatever. This week, Nebraska goes to Rutgers on Friday night. Michigan goes to Indiana. Purdue at Maryland. Wisconsin at Northwestern, and Ohio State at Michigan State. Those are the Big Ten scores or Big Ten games for this coming week. All right, power rankings. The most confusing thing that we will ever do on the show is trying to figure out 4 through 12 or 4 through, probably 4 through 12 in the Big Ten. Lot of shakeup. This is a mess. I don't know if you found it to be difficult or easy, but I found this to be extremely difficult. But we're gonna do it anyway. All right, give me your 14 through 11.
Northwestern back in the cellar.
Okay.
Who'd they lose to? Penn State. They kept it close against Penn State, but bad conditions. They're the worst team in the Big Ten. Ahead of them, I have Indiana, also dropping a spot as well. They're not good. Illinois should not have lost to them. They should not have beat Illinois. They were better. Illinois was better than them for 55 of the 60 minutes in Bloomington. Nebraska is up to 12 with their win over Indiana. And number 11, I kept Rutgers at number 11.
Yeah, we have the same 4 teams here, slightly different order. I also have Northwestern at 14, moving them down a spot from where they were last week. I have Rutgers at 13. They don't have a Big Ten win. The wins they do have aren't exactly the most exciting. I know they have lost to Iowa and Ohio State, which are 2 of the better teams, probably. Definitely one of them is. But I kept them at 13. I moved Indiana down to 12 after the loss, and then I have Nebraska up to 11. So Nebraska moved up 3 spots for me. Again, this is just going to be a mess. I don't think there's any right answer for any of this after 1, 2, 3. So 14 Northwestern, then Rutgers, Indiana, and Nebraska is my 14 through 11. Give me 10 through 7.
Sparty is at 10. I think I had them at 8 to start the year. So they're not far off of where I had them preseason, but they're worse than I thought they were going to be. Another non-competitive game, or for the most part, non-competitive game for them on Saturday. They're 2-3 now. And then down 4 spots is Wisconsin. I have Wisconsin at 9, at 2-3, 0-2. Fire your coach. Not good in Badgerland right now, so they're at 9. And Illinois jumps ahead up 2 spots. They are in the top 8 for me. Hopefully continuing to climb when they beat the number 7 team, Iowa, in my power rankings. 3-2. I still have them above Illinois. Worst record, but I still have them above Illinois. Obviously, if Illinois wins this week, that will change.
Yeah, I have our 10 and 9 are the same. I also have Michigan State at 10 and Wisconsin at 9. A little different here. This is where it gets real tough for me. I moved Minnesota down to 8. Just because that list of this 4 through 8 or 4 through 9 are kind of interchangeable when you get down to it. Minnesota lost at home. I moved them to 8. And then my 2 big risers are both Purdue and Illinois. I have Purdue up 4 spots to 7, and I have Illinois up 6 spots to 6. I should have had both of those schools higher than I did last week. I understand your argument, but I don't really know where else to put people. So Purdue and Illinois won last week. Minnesota and Iowa didn't. That's pretty much what this came down to. So Yeah, I have Michigan State 10, Wisconsin 9, Minnesota 8, and Purdue 7. And then, as I said, I already didn't give you my 6. I put Illinois at 6. So give me your 6 through 4.
Okay, 6 through 4. Purdue up 1 spot for me, up to 6. That's a good win for them. Maryland at number 5. I mean, never would have thought that, but they're 4-1. They won a Big Ten game this week. And 4, I kept Minnesota at 4. I know you dropped them quite a bit, but I kept Minnesota at 4. They were without Mo Ibrahim on Saturday, which I think changes them a lot. They still have Tanner Morgan. I still think they're probably the best team in the West. So I kept them at number 4 where they're at.
Interesting. That's fair. That's justifiable. I still probably would have moved them lower. I mean, I may have moved them a little too far low, but again, it's kind of messy. All right, so I already mentioned I have Illinois at 6, moving them up quite a bit. I have Iowa now at 5, which is where they were last week. And because I had them at 6 last week and they won, I put Maryland there. I put Maryland at 4, only based on that reason alone. They won, and a lot of other teams around them didn't. So I really think they're the 4th best team in the conference? Absolutely not. I agree with you. I think it's probably Minnesota, maybe even Iowa or Purdue or Illinois. But as of right now, just based on where I had them at last week and what they did this week, I moved Maryland up to number 4. And then I imagine our 3, 2, 1 are all going to be all the same.
Yeah,
Penn State
nothing
3,
changed.
Michigan 2, and Ohio State 1. So one more recap. Give me 14 through 1 for you.
Oh, crap. Sorry, I moved on to something else. I have from bottom to top: Northwestern, Indiana, Nebraska, Rutgers, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Purdue, Maryland, Minnesota, Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State.
And I have Northwestern, Rutgers, Indiana, Nebraska, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Purdue, Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State. We'll see how much change there is next week. But yeah, at some point, 4 through 12 has to work itself out. Still a little early for us to really know what's going on, but all right, that was let's move on. Rest of college football outside of the Big Ten. It was an interesting week. A lot of top 25 teams all lost. I think you put this down here. Number 7, number 10, number 15, number 16, number 17, number 18, number 20, number 21, number 22, or number 23, and number 24 all lost last week. Plus, you include on top of that Georgia almost losing to Mizzou. I was definitely watching that one. And then there's the Jayhawks game days going to Lawrence this year.
Not for basketball.
They're now not for basketball.
I'm sure they will for basketball. But
Kansas is now ranked. They're 5-0.
Has there been a more spoiled fan base the last 8 months than Kansas? They haven't lost a game since in football or men's basketball since February.
What an excellent point on your end. It's very, very true. Kansas is now ranked. They're 5-0. That's breaks the longest drought in the NCAA for teams to be out of the top 25. The now longest drought belongs to the Fighting Illini, who were last in the top 25 on October 16th of 2011. Hopefully that changes this year. They pull off a win this weekend. It's possible they might get themselves up there. They might still need a little bit more than that, but
you mentioned it earlier. Illinois did get 6 votes this week, 6 points in the poll, whatever it's called. The last time they received votes was 2019 after they beat Michigan State, the 28-3 comeback to clinch a bowl. They did receive votes that time.
I'm just happy to be receiving votes. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then the other big news, we already talked about Paul Chryst being fired, but Colorado also fired their head coach. So what is that now? Is that 5 or 6?
I think 5. I think I saw 5.
Wisconsin, Colorado, Arizona State, Nebraska, and Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This one is of note because Ryan Walters played there.
Yeah.
And he was asked about it today.
Been included. Yeah.
But
hang on to that one. That's going to be a name you're going to hear a lot of when it comes to that position. So, yeah, crazy week in college football. We'll move on to our picks. Craig finally had himself a good week. Logan did not. Yeah, I went 2-3 on the week. I still have a lead on Craig overall. I'm 17-9. Craig went 4-1. Craig had himself a pretty darn good Saturday. He's now up to 15-11 overall on the season. How you feeling?
I went undefeated Saturday.
Oh, did you?
My loss was Friday night.
Oh, who was your loss on Friday night?
Washington, UCLA.
Okay. How you feeling through 5 weeks? You good? You like where you're at?
No,
you can catch me? I mean, it's only 2 games, so yeah, you can definitely catch me.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to gauge your confidence level.
I'm always confident, Logan.
I've noticed. All right, our games for this week. Tennessee at LSU, TCU at Kansas, Texas at Oklahoma, Utah at UCLA, North Carolina at Miami, BYU at Notre Dame, Kansas State at Iowa State, Iowa at Illinois, Washington State at USC, and Florida State at NC State. Craig is the away team this week, so he gets the first pick. Who are you going with in your pick in pick 1?
There's a team on here that has won me a lot of money this season already. Their coach used to be in the Midwest and went for greener pastures on the West Coast.
It's the only obvious first pick.
Yeah. Give me USC at home to beat Washington State.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious first pick for us.
Once again, I tried my best to have single-digit games here, but some of them just weren't great. That one,
it's all right.
Is probably a blowout, but I thought Washington
Craig,
State's 4-1.
You knew that you were going to be the one picking first, so you wanted to make sure you had yourself a guaranteed win. I get it; it's fine. That's what happens when you're the odds maker. I get it. Home court advantage, whatever. All right, yeah. Craig takes USC. That's the smart pick for pick 1. I don't know where to go from here.
The rest of them are tough.
Quite honest with you, and I'm realizing now that I've numbered these in reverse order from what I've done in the past. So I hope I don't screw this up. I'm going to take. I don't know if this is the best way to go or not, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm going to take Miami over North Carolina with my pick.
Wow.
As I said, there aren't a lot of great ones to choose from here. Do I have a lot of confidence in that one? No, to be honest, I don't. But that's where I'm going to go. So I will take Miami over the Tar Heels.
I was going to go the other way with that one. So interesting.
Okay. Great.
Interesting. Okay. It is my turn. I am going with a road team. I've said multiple times on this show that I really like this team and think they can make some noise in the SEC if Georgia or Bama happen to stumble. Give me the Big Orange. Give me the Vols on the road. I know Death Valley is a tough place to play, but Tennessee's looking pretty good. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Yeah, I like that pick. It's not where I thought you were going to go, but I like it. They're pretty legit. I will say that. Okay. I'm also going to go with the road team.
I think I know
this
where you're
might
going.
come back to bite me in the butt. I don't have a ton of confidence in the home team. Granted, they've been good so far, at least record-wise.
Oh. You're not going where I thought you were going to go. Go ahead.
I'm taking Utah.
Yeah, wow.
I'm taking the Utes. UCLA they're 5-0. They're winning football games. I think Utah's the better team. I know they've stumbled a little bit out the gate. I mean, at one point, I think people considered them to potentially be a playoff contender. I don't know that they're that, but I think they're better than UCLA, and I think they'll win on the road. And as we've already talked about, UCLA doesn't exactly really ever get home field advantage. So I'll take Utah. Your third pick. Where are you going?
I thought this is where you were going when you said you started talking there. Another road team, ranked road team on the road at a unranked home team that I don't think is very good. Adrian Martinez has his Kansas State Wildcats playing pretty well. Give me old Bill Snyder, fighting Bill Snyders, who's not there anymore. Give me Kansas State at Iowa State. Should we start picking these against the spread just to be a little more fun? Make us look a little smarter or stupider.
That's more challenging. Maybe next year. Okay. Craig takes Kansas State over Iowa State. That's fun. I didn't really want that game, so I'm glad you took it. All right. I have a few options here. I could piss off some people. I could piss off some people in my town. I'm gonna stay away from that game though. I'm gonna take Illinois.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Illinois. We've already talked about it. I think this team is playing really well. Am I guaranteeing victory on Saturday? No, I'm absolutely not. But in terms of the rest of these games, based on confidence, I think Illinois beats Iowa. I really do.
I just don't see how Iowa can score on this defense.
No, I agree. And Illinois' offense has proved that they can actually do some things. So it may be low scoring. It may be
35.5.
Maybe comparable to Iowa's first couple games to start the season, but I'm going to take Illinois over Iowa with my third pick.
Okay.
All right. We have 4 games left. Who are you taking with your fourth pick?
Oh man. I'm looking at 2 here. Actually, what are there 3 left or are there 4 left? There are 4 left.
There's 4 left.
I'm not going to your hometown. It's not your hometown. I'm not going to your place of residence. Yep. The other 3 I am thinking about. We got TCU at Kansas, Texas versus Oklahoma at the Cotton Bowl, neutral site, Red River Showdown, and Florida State at NC State. I'm going to ride the momentum, but not the way you think in Lawrence. I think the dream season takes a step back. I think TCU goes into Lawrence and ruins the game day party and beats Kansas to give them their first loss of the year.
Probably smart money. I probably would have taken Kansas, but
I don't think they'll cover the spread. Spread 6.5 last I saw, but by TCU favored by 6.5 on the road, but I don't think they cover that. But I do think they win the game.
Okay. Well, where do I go left? Just to recap, we have 3 games left. Those 3 games are, as Craig mentioned, the Red River Showdown, Texas and Oklahoma, BYU and Notre Dame, and Florida State, NC State. What do I do? I'm going to take Oklahoma.
Wow.
I am not really super confident in either of those teams. But I'm going to take Oklahoma. I know Texas is the favorite, and that could end up being my demise, but I'm going to take Oklahoma. I don't really have a lot of good reasons as to why, but that's what I'm going to do.
That was the last game on my board. I did not want to pick that game at all. I'm taking a home team. I'm going to leave you with your place of residence game. I'm taking NC State. I'm huge. I really like NC State. I just think last week Clemson almost has their playoff seed locked up, playoff appearance locked up. They've already played NC State. They've already played who's the other team? Wake Forest. They've already beat both of them. Their schedule remaining isn't great. I think NC State's probably the second best team in the ACC. I'm going to take them to beat Florida State. Cover the spread too, 3.5.
All right. And that's going to leave me with the Irish or BYU. The Irish
have versus the Catholics
struggled. Yes, the Mormons and the Catholics. The Irish have struggled mightily this year. BYU's been pretty good. Notre Dame's at home. This is a game here in South Bend.
You going?
I'm not planning to go, but honestly, who knows? It's possible. Actually, no, this isn't here. This is in Las Vegas. I don't know what I'm thinking. This is the Las Vegas game.
Oh,
this isn't even a home
I didn't
game.
know that. Okay. My bad on the scheduling then. I just put at.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, this is the Las Vegas game. BYU, baby. BYU. I'm not even after I realized that all the way. BYU. Notre Dame has struggled. I think they could win the game. I think they are favored to win the game. This game is in Vegas. Yeah, at Allegiant Stadium. I'm going to take BYU over Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame continues to struggle. BYU's not a playoff team, but I think they're pretty good. So I will take BYU. So that completes it. So to recap, Craig took Tennessee over LSU. He took TCU over Kansas. He took Kansas State over Iowa State, USC over Washington State, and NC State over Florida State. I took Oklahoma over Texas, Utah over UCLA, Miami over North Carolina, BYU over Notre Dame, and the Illini over Iowa. How do you feel? I think I botched it. I botched it. I'm going 5-0. I think I'm going 3-2. I'm already calling it now. Whatever. We'll move on. Anything else college football we need to talk about? Or
no, let's
move on to
going.
basketball.
We've talked a lot of it already.
All right, let's move on. It was actually a pretty big week for Illinois basketball. Another thing that we've kind of buried. I probably should have mentioned all these things at the top of the show, but screw it. I'm a terrible host. Illinois.
You said it, not me.
Went into West Lafayette and scooped up a once Boilermaker recruit in Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn. He was verbally committed to go to Purdue. Purdue seems to be not handling NIL very well, which that's their choice. That is the choice of Matt Painter and his staff and his university, how they want to go about building their program. I'm not here to chime in on that. If they think they can have success doing it their way, that's fine. But that's not what Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn was looking for. So he decommitted from Purdue, opened himself up. Memphis, I know, was heavy in on this. Illinois was heavy in on this. I know there were several other teams. But he said last week he's coming to Illinois. So he is a member of next year's freshman class, joining, is that Amani Hansberry's class? And potentially Zachary Perrin, but we're not sure if he's actually coming to Illinois, so we won't talk about him. But Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn is a 4-star recruit from Montverde, played briefly with Sky Clark. He was at one point a top 50 composite, or at least a top 50 recruit in 24/7. He's dropped recently since the summer. He's dropped down to 81. But still, he's still a top 100 prospect. He's number 15 guard or combo guard on the list. He's a guy that can handle the point. He can score off the dribble. It's just another get. It's just another win for Brad Underwood and his staff. Tim Anderson, I know, was in on this. Another win for Tim Anderson. He's been incredible for what he has done. So big get for the Illini for next year. You never know in the age of transfer portal and NIL what this roster is going to look like from year to year. But getting yourself another guard, somebody that can handle the ball right now. I mean, you're looking at, he's obviously not going to be on the team this coming season. We're not exactly sure what the ball handling situation is going to be like this year. Sky Clark is a guard. Don't know that he's like a primary ball handler. I'm not sure that Jade Epps is a primary ball handler either. Ty Rogers is probably going to do some ball handling. Terrence Shannon is probably going to do some ball handling. So he's just another dude. He's just another dude, another cog in the machine. Can handle the ball, can initiate the offense, can get some buckets. That's what they're looking for. So a big get for Brad Underwood to steal him from Lafayette, steal him from Purdue. He gets to play fairly close to home, which I'm sure his family's going to enjoy. So big get for the Illini.
You know who else came from that area? Josh Whitman.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Josh Whitman. Yeah, that's true.
You said everything. You said it all. I mean, it's a point guard. We don't know who will and who won't be on the roster next year, but they wanted a point guard for another point guard in this class. That's not going to happen. But Yeah, I'm to the point that anyone that Brad wants, I'll take. I trust the staff. I trust their evaluations. I mean, I feel like this is multiple times now where Illinois finds these guys that are dropping in the rankings. Like this guy was a top 50. He had some injuries and he dropped. Sky Clark was a top 25, 5-star, had a knee injury. He dropped out. So Illinois is taking some chances on these guys that had injury history, but I trust them. I have no reason not to trust this staff when evaluating talent and bringing guys in. So I'm all for it. All for it, especially stealing from a conference rival.
Yeah, absolutely. We are not far off from basketball season. Illinois basketball has an exhibition game at the end of this month, and then the regular season kicks off in just over a month from now. So it'll be here before we know it, but that's a nice little get to start the preseason for the Illini.
A lot of Illinois-Wisconsin talk this week because of football.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be our basketball trip. Last year we went to Illinois, Arizona, me and a lot of the guys that were on this golf trip.
Yep.
I think we're going to make it a yearly thing, and we're doing Wisconsin this year.
Well, that'll be a good time.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
January 7th, I think. Yeah.
Good deal. Very cool.
Pumped.
All right. So yeah, basketball season be here before we know it. NBA has already started their practices and media day, and their games are coming up here soon. So football season is high. It's at high noon of the football season. But here we are as Illinois fans, not exactly wishing it away yet. So still plenty of football to play, but basketball season will be here before we know it. NFL Sunday, plenty of things to talk about, but I think the biggest thing to discuss is the Tua situation. I won't even bother saying his last name. That was on Thursday night. So we've had now almost a week since all of that went down. It's kind of a mess. Tua shouldn't have been out there to begin with.
Right. That's the whole issue.
He had a concussion. He got cleared to play, went into the game, thought he had another concussion, but now they're saying it's like a back situation. I don't know. It's just kind of a mess. People have been fired over this. It's just sticky. It's just messy, and I don't envy anybody in going on with that whole thing. The Dolphins were looking good, but I don't know where they're at right now. It's just kind of a mess.
I think they're just as good with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he's shown he can lead a team, but yes, the Tua situation, the worst part about it is that it was 100% avoidable. Like,
shouldn't have played. There's no reason he should have been out there.
You could see last Sunday when he got up and like fell down or almost fell down trying to get back to the huddle. There was no reason to put him back in that game, and then to play him 4 days later. Now, it might be different if it would have been 7 days later, but to play him on a short week, anyone knows that the slightest hit to his head after what he went through Sunday would have been detrimental. I mean, that was one of the most scary injury situations I've seen, because his hands like seized up above his, like, while he was on the ground, and he wasn't moving. It was, we were in B-dubs, and one of my buddies is a big Dolphins fan. It was just a scary scene. The whole restaurant like went quiet. It was crazy. And avoidable, which is the worst part.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was on Thursday. That was pretty ugly. Otherwise, Bears lost, Colts lost. Craig's teams went what? How many teams do you claim now? 2-0. Your Bengals
mainly
and your Cowboys.
Mainly the Cowboys. I like the Bengals only because I'm an hour away and this is like Bengals country, but
whatever. Steelers said they're going to keep going with Kenny Pickett. Good for them. Game tonight, which we won't really bother to talk about. I think that's that. Major League Baseball. We are nearing the very end of the regular season. The playoffs are here very shortly.
All but one spot is set.
Yeah, all but one spot. There's one spot left in the National League still to be claimed. We do know at this point Dodgers, Cardinals are claiming their spots. The Mets and Braves nobody's clinched there, right?
Nope.
So nope. That's still up for grabs.
The Braves are a game up. 2 games up.
Yeah. So both those teams will make it. Just a matter of who claims the division title, and then the Phillies and the Brewers are still in the mix to get the last NL spot. So the Dodgers, Mets, Braves, Cardinals, Padres are in, and then the last spot will go to the Phillies or Brewers. American League side, Astros are in, Yankees are in, Guardians are in, Mariners, Blue Jays, and Rays. Mariners back to the playoffs for the first time in a very long time.
That's wild.
An exciting young team. So a lot of good baseball coming up. I know you had a very sentimental moment in St. Louis over the weekend. I mean, I'm not even a Cardinal fan, and I got a little, teary-eyed watching the three of those guys walk off the field.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was a cool moment. I was very similar to Jeter and Mariano Rivera taking Andy Pettitte out of his last game with the Yankees. Ollie Marmol took Wainwright started the game, so he went out to make a pitching change, but at the same time he also subbed out Pujols and Yachty, and all three of them walked off the field together. As everyone clapped. I think the Pirates dugout was even clapping, and yeah, it's just been an awesome season. I know I say it every episode, but this season has just been so much fun. I just hope that it's not all for naught, and they make some sort of playoff noise. I hope Pujols at least gets one playoff moment, like a big RBI or potential game-winning home run or something like that. I was really hoping that during that, and I still haven't watched it in full, the ceremony before the game. I've just seen clips of it. I was really hoping that the owners would say in that moment, that no Cardinal will ever wear number 4 or number 5 again. Because I think that's coming. 4 for sure.
It'll happen.
I'm assuming 5 as well. Had he not come back, I don't know. Had he not come back and had this season, I don't know.
Yeah, but that's fair. But since he came back,
back and ended his career there, I think he's going to get him and Yachty might both get big statues next to Musial and not the small.
I mean, I'm sorry. I understand where you're coming from because he left, but like he's still the greatest Cardinal of this generation.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you wouldn't, but yeah. So especially since he came back, he's definitely going to have that retired. Yep. So yeah, playoff baseball here soon.
I think it starts Friday. I think. For sure. It starts Friday.
It's 100%. Here. It's here, and I'm ready to go. All right. Anything else sports-wise?
No sports. Nope.
Okay. Movies and TV? Survivor?
Not Survivor. Do you watch The Amazing Race?
No, I mean, I know Derek and Claire are on
That's what I was going to say. Did you know Derek and Claire were on it?
Yeah, I know they're in. I know they're doing it this year. I'll occasionally tune into it sometimes, but no, I haven't really been watching that in a long time.
Okay.
Are you watching it?
Yeah, I started watching it a couple seasons ago. It gives me just another show to keep up with weekly. And Rex Ryan was on it. I did. Spoiler alert: he lost this week.
Didn't make it.
Didn't make it.
Yeah, I saw that.
He lost 50 pounds to be on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's fun. I just like seeing the world and having them travel and stuff. So yeah. Survivor. It's happening.
It's on.
It's on. Yeah, I said it last week. I'm not into the cast yet. It's only been 2 episodes, but I'm just not feeling the cast. They are showing a lot more strategy, like camp life strategy talk, and less spending time on challenges, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I haven't really loved it yet, but we'll see.
Okay. Movie-wise, I did go see a little movie called Avatar. It's a little indie film that's kind of making its way around.
Wow.
I saw that on a big screen. That was kind of fun. I did watch Hocus Pocus 2.
We haven't got there yet.
It's exactly what you'd expect Hocus Pocus 2 to be. So yeah. I saw on here you mentioned the Rolling Stone greatest comedies of the 21st century. Do you have something about that you want to comment on, Craig?
Have you seen it?
I saw they did it.
I just wanted to get your thoughts.
I mean, I
got the top 10 here.
I scrolled to the top 10. I mean, I honestly haven't seen a decent number of them. Honestly, that's embarrassing and I think about it, but I mean, I've seen a good number of them. Bridesmaids, yes, absolutely. That needs to be on that list. Step Brothers, yes. Idiocracy.
Bridesmaids was 3, Step Brothers was 4, Idiocracy was 5.
Walk Hard's probably a little high.
That's a joke.
If you're asking my opinion.
Number
Punch
6.
Drunk Love. I don't love Punch Drunk Love. I know a lot of people do, and I know because it's Paul Thomas Anderson, it gets a lot more love, but I don't really even think it's that funny. Shaun of the Dead is great. 40-Year-Old Virgin, yes, obviously that needs to be in there. In Bruges is good. Anchorman, that needs to be on the list. That's at 13. Death of Stalin was good. That's 14. Everybody wants some. It's fine. It's not Dazed and Confused, so whatever. Serious Man, Lady Bird's great. Tropic Thunder is great at 19, and Mean Girls is 20. I mean, yeah, that's definitely in that list for me. I don't mind it. There's several of those that I haven't actually seen, so it's not a bad list.
Lost all credibility at number 6.
Which was what?
Walk Hard.
I mean, it's funny, but I don't know that it lost credibility, but I'm not sure that I would put it that high. But I know a lot of people really like it. So
as this won't surprise you whatsoever, I haven't seen a ton of these.
Yeah.
Never even heard of the top 2, Best in Show and In the Loop. Bridesmaids I didn't love. I guess I need to rewatch again. I don't know. I only saw it once right when it came out on DVD, and I don't know what it was, but I didn't love it. I felt the same way about Step Brothers, though. I watched it in theaters and walked out of the theater like, that wasn't funny. And then it came out on DVD, and I watched it, and I was like, holy, this is the funniest movie ever. So I might just need to watch it again.
You might need to revisit it. Bridesmaids is one of the best comedies for sure.
Did you see
of the last 20?
Did you see Palm Springs was 39?
No, but great movie.
I know you were a Palm Springs stan for a little bit, I think.
Well, yeah, it was like the only movie that came out in 2020. It was the only good comedy that came out in 2020. I'll have to go through the whole list. I did look at it 20 one day, but I haven't given it too much thought. Mean Girls is 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say today's specific for that. Knocked Up at 44, too low. Superbad 31, too low. And I didn't even see Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is the best comedy made in our lifetime.
That needs to be on the list. I haven't gone through the whole thing, so I'm sure there's I'd have plenty of takes on all those if I look back on them. But all right, we need to wrap this thing up. Anything else before we go that do you need to mention? Any other shout outs?
Actually, yeah, shout out. I've been trying to get him on for an interview. Nick Hardy.
Yeah.
Top 5 finish in the PGA event this past weekend. His first career top 5. Thomas Dietrich also played very well. We were watching some of that. That was Saturday's rounds were ending as we were ending our round at Atkins. So that was cool. I mean, Atkins, I didn't even get into it. The golf course that U of I took over, it used to be Stone Creek. Holy smokes, is it impressive. From the clubhouse to the pro shop. The course was in great condition. Didn't love the greens, but that was just me not being used to greens that are well maintained. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was it.
All right, good stuff. All right, we're gonna shut it down. As always, give us a follow at No One Asks Us Pod. He's at Craig W. Choate. I'm at the Logan Lee. Comment, like, share, subscribe. We would appreciate all those subscriptions. And as I said at the top of the show, we would love to hear your feedback. We want to hear what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. What are you listening to? What are you listening to us for? What are you coming here for? What do you want to hear more of, hear less of? All that stuff. Please tweet us, DM us, email us. No One Asks Us 2021 at gmail.com. Comment, whatever it is. We want to hear your feedback. He's Craig. I'm Logan. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.